So I mentioned that a lot of the side quests in A New Home were continuations of previous ones, and there's a side quest in Bergen Village that I know everyone has been very excited to see continue. That's right, it's the monastery.
Oh lord, did they find some new bullshit modifier that they're gonna slap on us?
Not necessarily a new bullshit modifier, but definitely a new kind of bullshit with which to test us. So here we go. On our way to enlightenment. Also, I guess they remembered that there's a guy called Kratos just hanging around in the monastery who they never did anything with. I am shocked to be in the position of having to tell you that Monk Kratos is not once going to address anybody as boy. I fully do not understand how they did not leap on this opportunity to make a really stupid but very on-point reference.
Yeah, this is a little weird, you know, not calling anybody boy, not threatening to kill anybody for completely spurious reasons. Just totally missed an opportunity here.
I guess that must be why they're all so enlightened. Oh well. So, a bold new cave challenge. The gimmick this time around is that as well as doing our normal ice slidey jumpy bullshit, we're also playing with wave teleporters. This opens up maybe like a single new innovative gameplay possibility, which is that there is a little bit of time lag between when we take the hit and when we teleport. So we can do fun things like actually getting hit off of the cliff and still surviving if we fired the right shot in time. Does open up some options. Also, you know, generally teleporting around as a means of dodging bullets, usually pretty good. However, the remainder of this is still sliding around on ice, doing a lot of jumps, having to hit a lot of targets, and generally being bothered by turrets, so I'd say it's overall a wash.
Yeah, this looks kinda awful.
It could be a lot worse. Like, I feel like I could hate this a lot more than I ultimately did. It is kind of frustrating to have to do this over and over again when you fail, but like, there's something to this. Like, I can't 100% hate this like I feel like I want to. And like, don't get me wrong, I definitely feel like I want to hate this sometimes, but there's like, it has this way of just working out eventually. And they definitely have designed it with like the good speed ethos in mind. It has that quality to it where like 9 times out of 10, the optimal way to approach these is also by just running headlong into stuff. They want you to not be hanging about any more than you absolutely have to. And here is somewhere where you absolutely have to hang about, because you've got to sit here dodging these things for at least 5 seconds while you wait for the gate to open. There are probably a bunch of ways to do this. There probably actually is an excellent way of using Circle of Valor to tank these things without fucking it up like I did, but I didn't find it. All I mean to say is that, for better or worse, there is meat on this bone. Well, great. We did it. We have achieved true enlightenment at last. But what if we actually haven't? Yes, of course there are additional challenges to do in this new and original bullshit cave. I don't know what else we expected. I am a huge fan of how Leah says, yep, I'm pretty sure this was the end. Ah well. There is, however, some very good news here, which is that because A New Home is committed to not adding any trophies, we are never once required to beat the time limit while having Extra Frosty activated. We only need to beat the time limit once and clear Extra Frosty once.
But that wouldn't stop a coward, would it?
I mean, it very much would stop a coward, and more to the point, we very much are cowards.
I was gonna say, you know what I meant.
I know what you meant. But, yeah. If they aren't even going to go to the effort of trying to bait my completionist brain with trophies, I'm not going to rise to it. They know exactly how to push my buttons. They chose not to. I will respect that choice by not doing any more stupid bullshit than I absolutely have to. It turns out this compulsion can cut both ways. Anybody who actually does really deeply care about clearing both of these challenges at the same time is more than welcome to do that. I certainly will not stop them. Also, I find it a little bit odd that this last segment doesn't change at all with Extra Frosty. I mean, it's also a relief, but yeah. Anyway, I did not show the time challenge on camera because what the hell would be the point? Ah yes, if we so desire. A thing which has definitely happened. Ever.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I can't think of anything more that I would rather do than to go do the bullshit cave, but under the extra bullshit conditions again.
What about engaging with Sao again? How does that rank on your big list of preferences?
I mean, we could not.
We could not. And yet. Oh well, this is all very exciting, but that is not, in fact, what we actually came here to do, so, we'll come back to you.
I like to imagine that he went out to Autumn's Fall, and he's just kind of sitting there, and, like, he's just, like, checking his watch, and for, like, hours on end, and you just never show up.
Canonically, we are making that happen. We are doing a few things before we actually go to deal with him, so yeah. In real gameplay time, this will turn around in something resembling a decent pace, but it's very possible to believe that the remainder of this video is actually going to canonically take us several hours.
Or even better yet, you know, we go through the area and he, like, gets all ready to jump out at us, and then we just keep walking and don't engage with any of the enemies.
I could buy that being good. That seems like a good thing. I'm a little sad that that's not a possibility, but ah well. There's only so much budget for making this stuff. Anyway, what might also take a decent amount of time is you, the player in real life, if you are not up to speed with doing the ship battles in Rocky Harbour. Because we have one of those to do now, and it is a proposition and a half. That said, I don't understand why they're so afraid of having to teach more people how to use this thing, because it's not that complicated. It's just, the demands placed on it.
I mean, surely it would make more sense to train more people on it, because, you know... Imagine having Leia be the only person who is capable of operating this battleship. That doesn't... I mean, I'm just saying, that's not a very, That's not a very, good security routine, that's all. I'm just putting that out there.
Like, in the canon of Crossworlds, the factions on Shadoon just pull random Seekers in to do stuff, just as a matter of course. Very much a MMO quest logic. But each one of them talks to us like we're the only one who's ever helped anybody with anything. So the sum total of it can kind of get a little bit weird. Oh well. Here's some brand new bullshit to deal with. I mean, eventually, for the time being, we're only going to see some regular bullshit that we're already used to. The sum total of it is, we get Shock and Wave added to our repertoire, and they can do weird things to break shields. The thing you gotta remember is that you still have to do a lot of work to actually kill these things yourself. You need the turret to break their shields, but the turret is going to be too busy to continue attacking them for the most part. You really have to do that yourself. And it comes down to not only, managing each of them, like managing the crowd as a whole, but also you kind of have to be careful to not continue shooting the same guy over and over again, because you really need to be spreading that shield break around. Otherwise things will get pretty hairy pretty quickly. This mission is a Category 1 fucker, is what I'm saying here.
I was gonna say, yeah, this looks like this is a hot mess.
I am admittedly doing a very bad job of not letting the turret be hit by the charged yellow shots. Also, I'm doing a very bad job of not just activating Vermilion Echo and plunging directly into the sea. That is an additional thing at which I am failing. So there's that too. But yeah, previously the threat from the big yellow shots is that they would just do a whole bunch of damage to the turret and probably would kill it. But the much more important thing here is that getting hit by a big yellow shot will cancel the turret's charge shot, and that will probably set you back. You will probably have to let some things through if you do that. I am frankly astonished that this went as well as it did for me, with how much of a hash I made of things.
Is it only one, at least, other than this boss fight?
Yeah, it is only the one wave and this boss fight. That said, I'm not sure and never thought to test what would happen if you failed this boss fight. Would you have to do the previous waves again? So we'll leave that as a hanging uncertainty. The boss fight is not a huge deal, really. He fires some stuff at you that you have to take a microsecond out of your time to shoot down, but he takes a lot of shots, but you'll be constantly doing damage to him anyway. Setting him on fire is a really good idea, as is inflicting Jolt. There's no requirement to stop enemies from living, generally. I mean, other than the fact that they'll shoot you and you'll probably be inconvenienced by it, but, like, you don't have the failure requirement here that you do in the previous wave. In Phase 2, he gets some new shielding bullshit and some little wave points appear that you can walk to. There is a theory here that you want to, like, walk behind him and hit him in the back at certain opportune moments, but honestly, it more than suffices to just continue setting him on fire. All told, this business really looks a lot more scary than it actually is. Also, if you do walk over there, you will find that you will probably get pushed off by most things, so do watch out for that. I have never actually let any of those missiles hit the turret. I assume they are scary and will deal a lot of damage, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Also, camera. I really did not intend to kill that guy with the very first hit of Celestial Legion. I assume this would have been a lot more dramatic and impressive if he had lived a tiny bit longer. Oh well. At least we didn't get any more stuff that I would have had to worry about it being a reference to The Wire. I mean, that would also have been very funny, but also quite unsettling. By the way, the scroll from Sal just stays there indefinitely until you actually do his challenge. It's just there.
Now, are those challenges cumulative, or are they like... Or do you have to do one before the next one shows up?
You can do them in any order, but while one is active, you can't start any of the others. So, yes, basically, is the answer to that. Our next stop is Basin Keep, where we have business, literally and figuratively, with the local capitalist guild. In particular, we are going to sell refrigerators to the Shad in Verdeville, somehow.
So, we are going to sell refrigerators to people who live in trees.
Yes. Did I stutter?
And how precisely are we going to provide any kind of power to these refrigerators?
Well, that turns out to kind of be the million credit question, doesn't it? We'll worry about that later, but first we need to actually make sure that they are in fact willing to buy refrigerators. On account of, you know, I don't want to invoke dangerous ideas, but I gather there's been a little bit of a turbulent history regarding these people and human technology.
I mean, I'm just thinking, are we gonna, like, chain up a Shotcat in the basement and then just, like, have it stand near the refrigerator at all times?
Don't be absurd, that would be awful and inhumane. The truth is, we have no idea how we're gonna do this. We have to go and talk to a local Shad inventor and get some ideas for how we're going to do this. Oh man. He went to Kuleg? That sounds impressive. This guy sounds like he means business.
I don't know how much business you can mean when your name is Uwu.
Alright, sounds like we're in business, right after we do a little bit of grinding for stuff. Just kidding, we already have all that stuff. Game's actually remarkably consistent about this. For the most part, if you do, like, stuff, if you're just good about doing stuff, you'll find that more often than not, you just have the stuff by the time you're ever asked for it. I have no idea how impressed that we should be by the balance here. So yeah, obviously we're not just going to capture them and have them chained up in machine, no. We're going to have them just live in there, entirely willingly.
I don't know who this person is that thinks that they're just gonna put a Shawkat in some machine and have it just live there willingly, but they have clearly never encountered a Shawkat.
A cat just choosing to remain in a box indefinitely? Absurd. Could never happen. That said, do you think you could have made that... just make the thing a tiny bit less, you know, cage-like?
Oh wow, the cat's gonna try and escape from this, you don't say! I wonder why that would be.
Look, we can all appreciate the difference between a cat entering a box and a cat being put in the box. We know that these are two very different scenarios. Anyway, obviously regular Shawkats will not work for this. So instead, we're here to capture Picats. Because I guess they just wanted to make this a tiny bit more on the nose than it already was. Now that said, this whole business is kind of irritating to engage with, because most of the time what will happen is that, yeah, you just KO them. What you need to do is you need to stun them without killing them, but also while still having them on low health, generally. Then you need to hit the machine and let it do its work. The very good news here is that your party members are not morons and will actually hold back from attacking the Picats while they are stunned. So that's real fortunate. Here's a further fun fact. On the console versions of CrossCode A New Home, this quest would pretty much reliably softlock your game, because what would happen is the battle scenario would start, and the cats would appear, but they wouldn't enter their battle state, they would not be interactable, so you would just sit there. with the music playing and nothing happening. It's an instant softlock. I think it's patched now, but yeah, that was a fun one. Anyway, same deal again, except now we have to fight 3 of the things at a time and we need to capture 2 of them. You can, of course, make this a lot easier on yourself by only capturing 1 at a time. And right, oh yes, did I not mention that they can free each other? That's a concern that you should have. You will see them charging up for it, you can stun them out a bit. Also, in case we forgot, these are still shockats, they are still quite dangerous to fight in large numbers and in close quarters. They will mess up your hit point total quite thoroughly. I recommend not taking this mission lightly. Otherwise you will probably die. Like Emily.
This seems like the sort of mission that might actually be easier without party members.
They do hold off once the cats are stunned, and like there is not much point in holding off when they are not stunned. Like if they've got too little health, they're gonna die anyway. You might as well just cycle them at that point, so I don't know. But yeah, this is about as easy as actually fighting real cats in real life. I cannot honestly recommend either scenario. And just like in real life, if you must engage, then I refer you to the timeless advice of an anonymous veterinary specialist, which is, don't fight a cat, use your brain, use drugs. Words to live by. Well, whatever, we're done. Also, you didn't actually think we were going to get through this whole mission without somebody saying that, did you?
You know, I had a hope and a dream, and they were cruelly dashed by whatever this writing team is.
I feel like you have learned nothing lately. Well, that's that, I guess. Capitalism wins again. And all that was required was caging and enslaving the local wildlife. But in a humane way, of course.
I don't feel like we actually succeeded at anything there, but okay, sure, whatever.
Oh ye of little faith, we've succeeded in more than you can possibly imagine, because by virtue of having done this quest, we actually open new shops in Verdeville, including the only place in the game besides the tower defense machine, in which we can make final dinners. They are, of course, still not cheap. I don't understand why we need epic metal to forge a final dinner, but whatever.
Well, you gotta,
there it is.
Well, you gotta plate it. Come on, you can't make a final dinner and just put it on some random garbage plate. You gotta get the best.
That is a good point and well made. There's also this guy who deals in stuff that we're going to find later, but he is unique in that I believe this is the only trader in the game that will multiply items like this. You're still functionally trading other stuff for new stuff, but one of the ingredients is just the thing that you're trading for, so that's a little odd.
That's very interesting how he can turn one coconut and, like, some assorted metal junk into 2 coconuts. Like, I don't think that's how that works.
I'm telling you, this shad science is something else. Alright, let's do this.
No, it doesn't, actually.
What are you gonna do? Well, it turns out that what he's gonna do is largely the same thing as he did before, except with slightly higher numbers. By the way, it's not a great idea to try Ether Snipe on him, because, you know, he's fast and will probably jump out of the way, and the environments are not typically very conducive to getting good bounces. Also, he's got really good damage gating. So, don't think about trying to phase skip. That's not gonna work, probably. Anyway, the numbers are slightly higher, but they're not that much higher, so overall this is still pretty nondescript. Sure.